This episode of the Coarse Grind Podcast has been sponsored in part by Irving Cliff Brewery. If you're in Northeast Pennsylvania and you're looking for some of the finest craft beer around, look no further than the Irving Cliff Brewery, located at 2 Chapel Street in lovely historic Honesdale. With an attention to detail that feels high-end and small-town comfort, Irving Cliff Brewery does beer, and they do it very, very well. Irving Cliff Brewery, 2 Chapel Street, Honesdale, PA 18431. Now on to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode number 39 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. With you as always, host, creator, Sean Rossler. How the hell are you this evening? This is episode 39. It's like the episode of my age, and that's kind of weird, and I don't want to be okay with that, but I guess I have to be. So without further ado, let's go right into it. You know, I spend so much time pursuing guests that I often forget the rigor of it, how hard it is, the constant strain of knocking on door-to-door virtually, that when I'm actually presented with a guest, like handed a guest, I'm flattered. And when it's a guest of tonight's caliber, charisma, and overall kick-assness, I tend to die. Not really, but you understand me. So, Natalie Pacifico, thank you for that. I love you dearly. Affectionately referred to as the Grill Bitch in the best-selling book Kitchen Confidential, our guest is a native New Yorker. Having grown up in the family restaurant business, it was only natural for her to attend and graduate from the CIA and to run the culinary gamut in a host of New York's finest restaurants. She did her due diligence in multiple departments behind the scenes at 21 Club, Union Square Cafe, and numerous other eateries in New York City before she was primed for her own chef endeavors. After years of acquired experience, she reunited with longtime friend and coworker from the past, Anthony Bourdain. Ow! I broke my toe dropping that name. Through whom the Grill Bitch came to life on the pages of his acclaimed novel-turned television series Kitchen Confidential. Having built a relationship of trust and merit, our guest was asked to become Bourdain's executive assistant, a title that evolved into her presence in production on his television show No Reservations. She has worked for Bourdain as his executive assistant, as well as production assistant also on No Reservations, currently producing t-shirts, buy them, with exclusive rights to Anthony's logo and slogan. Those who know her recognize that she is a natural entertainer, and folks, if the 5 minutes before I started recording this shit is any indicator, you're in for a fucking ride. Both in the kitchen and at the table, her personality, humor, and unadulterated wit are magnetic, if not hypnotic. Recent press in the New York Times featured tonight's guest once again as the founder of a social club comprised of celebrity chef executive assistants. The swanky group of assistants meets monthly to do what? Eat, drink, and be merry, of course. I'm down with that. But while I can't be there, I can sure as hell apparently be fortunate enough to be introduced to her and somehow talked her into doing my show. Go me. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, my guest this evening, the Grill Bitch and everything that comes with it, Chef Beth Aretsky. Beth, how we doing?
Great, Sean. How are you?
Awesome. I couldn't be better. I have some broken toes. You say Bourdain enough. I'm hoping it's like Beetlejuice. Does he like come through my wall and kill me? I don't know.
I don't think he'll come through your wall. He's probably in another country right now.
All right, terrific. I'll take that. Folks new to the show, folks existing and have a shitty short-term memory because of drinking, like myself. 3 sections of the interview: starters, mains, and afters. Starters, where the chef in question comes from, mains where they're at, and afters, a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit more irreverent. No one's ever been injured, but there's always a first time, I'm told. So, Chef Beth Aretsky, without further ado, tell me where and what you grew up eating.
I grew up in Jericho, Long Island, eating my mom's, Jewish soul food, I'd say.
What is Jewish soul food?
Jewish soul food is brisket, potato pancakes, matzo ball soup, and then a lot of 70s retro kind of stuff that, now we say. She did a lot of quiches, creme brulee, prime rib and Yorkshire pudding.
Ooh.
It was roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. She always had dinner parties. My mom was a really great cook. So, and scrambled eggs well done. Well done bouncy scrambled eggs.
The ones that you can bounce a golf ball off of.
Yep, not ooey and gooey and...
Not runny.
No.
Those ruined it for me. Those ruined it for me. From an early on age, the runny shit ruined it for me, and it became a texture issue. It was a long time before I could mess with them. I'm right there with you. Were you, as far as an eater goes, would you consider yourself picky, or were you a pretty adventurous eater?
I was pretty adventurous. I would pretty much eat anything. I mean, my mom would get me tongue sandwiches from the deli, and I thought it was just a cut of meat. You know, I thought it was like roast beef or ham,
right?
Tongue, until I saw a tongue in the deli case, and I asked my mom what that was. And she said, "That's a tongue." I said, "A tongue, like a tongue on a cow?" And she said, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't want tongue sandwiches anymore."
You never went back.
No, I've eaten tongue since, but that was, you know, I was a pretty adventuresome eater. I didn't really, you know, poo-poo anything. I had a Jamaican nanny when I was a kid, so she would make some oxtail and, you know, all kinds of Jamaican food and West Indian, Caribbean food. So I was lucky in that aspect.
So you weren't exactly a closeted eater, as they say, kind of like I was.
No.
Right on.
No. I begged my mother for TV dinners. Like, all my friends had TV dinners, and I really wanted, you know, the Hungry Man Salisbury steak dinner. I really wanted that. And my mom finally buckled and, like, let me have a TV dinner.
Right on.
You know?
The fried chicken one was where the money was at, though.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one, the fried chicken. Yeah, the little apple cobbler thing.
Ooh,
yeah, that was really good.
I'm going to go out and get one right now. Oh, wait, I'm 39. I have cholesterol to worry about.
Anymore.
You know what? What's crazy is, and I know your mom, I'm a dad, they have them, but, like, there's so much of an emphasis now on, oh, it's made with organic flour. Who gave a fuck in the early 80s?
Yeah, no. I don't know how they survived all this stuff. So.
I know. We should all be dead by now, apparently. Mm-hmm. Terribly so. Looking back, I mean, you already rattled off some absolute gems. You know, I never knew there was what would qualify as Jewish soul food, but when you said it, all my Jewish friends, I'm like, oh yeah, they would bring that up. So I guess that is that food of childhood. Is there anything like that you look back on with almost a nostalgic pang in your soul that, like, even now with your skill set, you just can't get?
No, unfortunately, now I've got the skills to do it myself. So now I've taken over the helm and I make these things now.
Right on.
So now I can't really think of one thing that I, you know, miss terribly or can't replicate myself. So no, not really.
Right now, if there was a food that you say that you could say, like, embodied your childhood, what would it be?
What would that be? You know,
that's like some pick your favorite kid shit right there, as far as the question goes. That's like, how do you narrow it down? But if you had to,
if I had to narrow it down, what was my favorite thing? I would say creme brulee. Like my mom was a mad creme brulee maker. Creme brulee and Yorkshire pudding. Oof. And I live for cholesterol. Anything that's fattening, and I live for cholesterol. Like, I really had high cholesterol. I finally got it down by drinking a lot of red wine, and I've been making oatmeal with red wine in it. And, you know,
you have
it's a savory porridge.
Holy the tannins! I'm doing it for the tannins. Damn it!
Yes, it seems to be working. So my cholesterol's down, but I really couldn't say my. You know, I think that creme brulee and Yorkshire pudding and God, I think that's really the few things that I really liked the most as a kid. Yeah,
that sounds like a real hard childhood. Creme brulee and Yorkshire pudding.
Creme brulee and Yorkshire pudding.
I talked to some folks and they're like, I don't know, box of mac and cheese. I'm like, holy shit.
My nanny did make a really good like soy chicken and rice.
Ooh.
What is called Ethel's chicken. And we still make it every now and then, yeah.
Wow.
Rest her soul, it was Ethel's chicken. It was just a roast chicken on a bed of onions with some soy sauce. And that was really good.
I mean, simple tends to translate the best.
And I love simple. Simple, less ingredients is more.
Awesome. So, you have this Jamaican nanny. You have your mom, maybe not the best creme brulee maker, but could clearly sling some other things. Who would you say steered your boat culinarily? Like, who was your influence?
Chef-wise?
Yeah, chef-wise, growing up-wise, family-wise.
Growing up, I watched all these chefs. I used to watch Julia Childs. I'd watch The Galloping Gourmet, and who was the child molester guy?
Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking awful? That's how I know him. Like, Jeff Smith, the kid toucher. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the child molester. Yeah, him. So, I love Julia Childs. So, I think... And then my parents being in the restaurant business...
Right.
Just kind of... I was always around food, and I just kind of got... I tried to avoid it, but I would always have dinner parties in high school. When my parents would go out for dinner, I'd ask them if I could have friends over. I'd make a 3-course meal for my friends.
That's awesome. Wow.
At my house, and clean up without complaining. Now I can't clean up. I can cook, but I won't clean up.
Well, there's people for that.
Yeah, exactly. We have people called Cecil. I call my mother Cecil now. Whenever I visit her, I'll cook, and Cecil will do the dishes.
Right on. No, that's awesome. My wife actually interviewed me for the show way back when we were actually down in Mexico. So we just put a phone in the middle of the table, and she ran me through it. And she asked me that question, and my first answer, just like you, was PBS. Martin Yan, Jeff Smith, Galloping Gourmet, Julia Child. These were absolutely staples. Staples. And then and then you mentioned, your parents being where they were. I think it was Bourdain that I first really came to grips with it with like, if you do the restaurant biz, you don't get days off.
Right.
It's constant. It's persistent, yeah?
It is. And I always said if I ever opened up a restaurant, I would name it Holiday. And we'd be closed every holiday because I think it's mean, especially Thanksgiving. Like, that was one of my biggest pet peeves. Restaurants that are open on Thanksgiving,
yeah, I
can't stand it.
Mm-mm.
And I'd have to say that my father's guilty of that because he owns a restaurant. He's open on Thanksgiving, but I hate it. I feel bad for his employees that have to work for Thanksgiving, but apparently they have a really nice staff meal, and they have their own Thanksgiving there.
Well, there
They've
you
been
go.
doing it for years.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for years, so it's okay. But, the standard New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve is a big one. That's like amateur night. People go out for New Year's Eve, and like the kitchen staff's just wasted, and they don't want to be there. But actually, I think even like so much stuff has changed since I worked in the kitchen with Bourdain, especially. Those days, you could smoke on the line.
Right.
You smoked cigarettes online. Didn't care. It didn't matter.
Now it's, everything has to be just so within reason, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, times have changed since our youth, Beth.
Yeah, still slightly. Not so much. I've calmed down a little bit, but, there's, my time at the Culinary Institute was very educational. Even that's changed a lot,
Yep.
I think another pet peeve of mine was the way that women are treated in the kitchen.
Totally.
I was in this book called Skirt Steak by Charlotte Druckmann.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentioned this story about one experience I had at the CIA where I just knocked this dude right I knocked him out. It was in pastry class, and you'd have to line up before you go into class, and he was also my partner, and he would hit me in the tit with a palette knife every day. And I would just wait. I was going to get this sucker. I was like, I'm going to get you so bad.
Yeah.
And this one day, the whole class is over in one corner doing a wedding cake with the chef, and Stephen and I, for some reason, that was his name, Stephen, I won't tell you his last name because he doesn't deserve any credit. He knows who he is if he's listening to this. We're making ice cream, and it was one of those industrial ice cream machines, and it's got the bain-marie on its side. And I opened the portal door, and I'm scooping the ice cream into another container, and Steven's standing behind the door, and all I can see is his crotch. So I just decided that it's do or die time right now, and I just hauled off and punched him right in the nuts. and he dropped to the floor and he started screaming. And the teacher said, "What's going on over there?" And I said, "He hit me in the chin with a palette knife, so I punched him in the balls." And the kid's on the floor, and I'm like, "You started, I finished it. Don't ever touch me again."
Oh my God, I love it. Steven?
Couldn't do anything.
Oh, Steven, if you're listening, you poor shit.
Yep.
Oh.
He got punched by the grill bitch before I was the grill bitch.
Good for you. Good for you.
He helped shape me. He helped shape me to the bitch that I am today.
There you go. So, you know what? Nothing is all bad. There's a glimmer. No. There's a glimmer.
Yeah, but I've been up with a lot of crap. I mean, I had at the 21 Club, I had a Moroccan guy tell me, he got me in the walk-in, and I was about 18. I hadn't gone to the CIA yet. This is pre-CIA. Mm-hmm. And I was 18. He was probably in his early 30s. And my dad at the time was a CEO at the 21 Club. And not a lot of people knew that I was in the kitchen. I was just garmage, like prep. I was prep. I was learning how to dice an onion. I didn't know. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And he gets me in the walk-in and he says, "Tell your father I want to fuck the shit out of you."
What?
And I looked at him and I said, "Well, how many camels are you going to give him?"
Oh! Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So I always had an answer, I always had a retort. And that was before Steven, so...
Right.
I was always defending myself somehow,
Well, I found, and I've spoken about it periodically here and there, like not a lot on the show, but I did a little bit of time on breakfast and lunch service, which certainly doesn't equate to dinner service.
Uh-huh.
But I think
it's all service.
Yeah, I think it definitely peels your skin back a little bit and lets you see what you're worth back there and how you can handle getting your ass handed to you and how you can handle getting treated like shit. Obviously, it's ramped up considerably because of the inequity that is so historic in the kitchen. But, I mean, I think the kitchen, I think everybody should put in a good year or two.
Absolutely.
In the back of a fucking restaurant. And
oh, God, yeah.
You'll find out real quick where your nuts/ovaries reside. In my humble opinion.
I always tell people who ask me, I want to be a chef. I say, well, before you go to school, I think you should stage in a restaurant.
Yes.
Or, I don't even know, I can't give you a time frame because you might hate it after the first week.
Oh.
You may think you want to do it because it sounds so glamorous, but when you get in there, it's not.
Slice 20 fucking pounds of cucumber. And
that's what I used to do. I used to have to I would peel like 5 cases of beefsteak tomatoes, peel, seed, and dice beefsteak tomatoes at Gramercy Tavern. I was like, but I'm not a prep person.
Right.
What am I doing this for?
Right.
And then when I was a chef over at Butterfield 81, I was running a ship full of guys. I was it was me and a bunch of men. Some of them were older than me, and they whined like little babies. Everyone would come to me and go, "This guy's doing this." I go, Really? You're gonna come cry to me like this?
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Go figure it out yourselves. Come on. I'm not your mother.
I think the days of the Marco Pierre White punch in the chest era are probably lessened, but at the same time, and I do kind of have to ask you this because one of my guests earlier on was actually a student in the CIA, a relative of a friend who was enrolled in CIA, and I actually got into a flame war. Here we go, internet keyboard warrior. But I got into a flame war defending this kid who had just graduated against a graduate, like, I think 15, 20 years prior. And he was being a real prong about it. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, wait a minute, Sean, you don't know. What's the caliber of the kid coming out now as opposed to 20 years ago? Do you think they've maintained their quality, or has it gone down?
I'm going to have to say, in my mind, I would say it's probably gone down because it's so easy to get into now.
You think it's just because of the almost the softening of it?
Yeah, it's a factory. Right. And they don't tell you that you're not going to make any money when you get out of school. Mm-hmm. They don't tell you that there's, people from other countries that do your job for minimum wage.
Right.
And now a lot of these kids going to schools think they're going to be celebrity chefs because we didn't have celebrity chefs when I went. Wolfgang Puck was a celebrity chef.
Yep.
That was it. Yep. Wolfgang Puck. Maybe Emerald was just starting. that was it. There were no celebrity chefs when I went.
Right.
And then after I graduated, that's when it all started kind of happening. Maybe 10 years after I graduated.
Right.
You know?
Because I was going to say, mid-'90s was the real Food Network boom.
Yeah.
And you started getting your Rosengartens, your Lagassis, your Batalis, and,
right.
you know, Dave, if you're listening, call me. I've been trying to call you, man. But anyway, I remember the allure of it, and it really did. Like, it kind of sucked you in even then, you know. And so today, it's so prevalent, it's so dominant that, you know, much like colleges just in general do with admission, and I used to be in charge of, you know, keeping students on. So after admission dangled the hopes and dreams in front of their face, and then reality sets in, I'm the one that had to keep them in school. I can only imagine what the CIA is like, because...
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of pressure, too, you know, I mean, to get through the school. And just, when I went, it was only a 2-year program. Now it's 4.
Right.
I think 4 is optional. I think it's an optional.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad it was just 2 years when I went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do 4 years there.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Yeah.
Speaking of the CIA and your time there, you know, growing up, you grew up around the food, you grew up around everything, literally everything culinary. When did you put it together that you're like, all right, I'm a lifer. Like, this is going to be my life versus this is a thing I like to do? Did you have, like, a moment where you just arrived, or, I mean, was it just ingrained in you?
I think when I got into the 21 Club kitchen, before I even went to the CIA, because I really was avoiding it for a long time, but I remember just always cooking. I went to, you know, this little college called Southern Vermont College in Bennington, and I remember I had an electric wok in my room, and I would make everything in this wok, you know, from dinner to breakfast, and I was walking and rolling in that school, but I was always cooking, so I just needed, you know, to sharpen my skills and just to learn, you know, the basic stuff that you learn at the CIA, you know, your first few months there, you know, basic knife skills, basic mother sauces, you know, all this stuff I didn't know, so that, to me, actually, going to the CIA when I did was helpful.
Yeah.
But I'm not big on pastries. I don't have a sweet tooth, and I really don't enjoy making pastries because it's so precise and so, it's not forgiving. It's not as forgiving as just, you know, cooking. Right.
No, for sure. So. Even the past timers, and I'm sure Natalie could tell you about the dinner, we had, like, we like to cook, and I found the deeper I get, the farther away from baking I get. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to level off a fucking cup. Give me a sprinkle of this, dash of this. Does it taste good? Yes. Taste it again. Okay, it's good. The end.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
You know, I used to work as a private chef for these people seasonally for 19 years. And she would ask me, where'd you get this recipe from? And I'd say, from my head. Mm-hmm. And she couldn't understand it. And then I started to just say, oh, I got it from Jean-Georges' cookbook. Or, oh, I got it from Danielle's cookbook. Because in her mind, psychologically, it tasted better. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, you know, people are weird with their food, and you know, who it comes from. She just, you know, it's like painting. I don't need to paint with numbers.
Exactly.
Some people need to paint with numbers,
yep.
Some people don't.
Yep.
I need to paint with numbers, but I don't need to cook with a cookbook.
Some people need the name brand on the clothing to walk out and feel good. Some people need Under Armour on their shirt to go to the gym. I need a rag that covers up my man nipples, and we'll continue. Exactly. We'll be fine.
I like electrical tape. Works for me.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I used medical tape on the half marathon we did, but that's neither here nor there, because nobody wants chapped nipples. Mark that down. 39 episodes. That's the first mention of chapped nipples in the history of the show.
Chapped nipples.
There's that. Chapped nipples. Hey, speaking of chapped nipples, so the Cook for Your Die logo has nothing to do with chapped nipples. It's an awkward transition. Go with me.
No, but it's very soft. It will not chap. The T-shirt, I promise, will not chap your nipples.
The T-shirt, there it is. The Cook for Your Die T-shirt, available at grillbitch.com, will not chap your nipples. If you've ever wanted a shirt that doesn't do that, and God knows I have plenty that do, that's where to get it, grillbitch.com. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. So the 21 Club Kitchen, that was your inspiration. You go to CIA, you come out, you're doing your thing, you get hooked up with, Bourdain. Fast forward to today. Where do you, center from culinarily? Like, when you're looking to be inspired and create something new or different, where do you go to in your mind?
Where do I go to in my mind? I like to go to other countries in my mind.
There you go.
I like to travel in my mind. I do a lot of mind travel.
Because real travel is expensive.
Lots of mind. Yes, real travel is expensive. Although I will be going to Paris for the first time next month.
Struggles. And, it sounds terrible.
I know. It's terrible that I've never been there before up until now.
This is true.
Yeah, that's really a crying shame. But hey, better late than never.
Precisely.
And
what are you going to be doing in Paris? Just vacation?
Vacation and eating.
Excellent.
And drinking.
Excellent. Because I hear they make a wonderful red wine and oatmeal there.
I might let them in on that trick.
The steel milled Bordeaux is fantastic.
Yes. I plan on eating a lot of fromage and croissant.
Oh, again, the struggle.
And
oh, it sounds so hard. That sounds so hard. All right, I'm kind of hating now, but anyway. So other countries.
I'd like to other countries. Do I look at cookbooks? Kinda.
Ish.
Just for ideas, just to look and see, or I'll just go online, or I'll call my friend and say, "What are you making?" She does a lot of curries, and my boyfriend's a chef also, and he does a lot of Asian cuisine.
Ooh.
That's kind of his forte, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's the last cookbook you looked at? Do you remember?
Ad Hoc.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Who's that?
Thomas Keller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thomas Keller, Ad Hoc. That was a really great cookbook. And, I also like Ina Garten. I like her stuff. It's very simple. Mm-hmm. She keeps it real, and she's a real chef, not like Giada.
Exactly. Exactly. Her and her 5 head.
Her giant head.
Oh my God. Now that's not to say if she called me, I wouldn't say, yes, sure, of course I have an episode for you. But she's not going to be calling me, and I can make fun of her 5 head, at least for the moment. At least for the moment.
She's got a great head for a bobblehead doll.
She certainly does. And if Food Network's not on that yet, call me, because we can make that happen. We can totally.
Bourdain had one as a joke. I think he's got it on a shelf somewhere.
Oh, that's terrific.
For one of his shows, he had a bobblehead doll made. But, those were some good times.
I love it.
Doing the show.
Yeah, definitely. Ina is one of my wife's favorite, and
yeah, I really love her.
She's very Jeffrey-centric, which is good. That works well. And I think Gret's got a couple of her cookbooks, but I was actually just at You're Gonna Die. I was at a library book sale with the kids, and they were doing a book sale to help support the library. Seems almost cannibalistic, but anyway. It was the last day of it, and it was get a bag of books for $5. I walked out of there with Jacques Pepin's fruit pastry cookbook. I walked out of there with Think Like a Chef, Colicchio, which we actually had the soft cover, but we now have the hard cover too, and a couple others. And so, it's always when we open them, I think, kind of like how you might probably open it and just look at it and go, oh, that makes me think of this. It's more for inspiration than for straight iteration.
Exactly.
Right on.
And I think some of these cookbooks are just really, even if you tried to make the recipe, it's just going to be impossible.
Right.
Even Bourdain's cookbook, the Leal cookbook, that's a good cookbook.
Yeah, we love.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, easy, nothing too tricky.
The frites, when I started cooking frites, the way that he puts out there, game over.
Yep.
Game changer.
Yep.
Game changer.
that was a really good cookbook.
Yeah, we have it on display actually in our hutch next to our wine glasses. So all hoity-toity, but I'm like, no, you're putting that shit on display right now.
Yeah, and you got to put some marks on it. You have to,
Oh, I think there's at least a couple grease spatters from the free sessions.
Blood on there.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, looking back now, obviously you've got just an amazing career that I can't believe how lucky I am to have been introduced to you to discuss.
Well,
and
thank you.
Again, I thank you as well. What would you say has been, to date, your greatest creation or achievement? I know they can go different paths in the mind of a chef. Oh, the mind of a chef, there's a Bourdain name drop, and I didn't even realize it.
Right.
Creation or achievement, like, what would you say was, like, it for you?
I think opening up Butterfield 81, from the ground up with my dad, but kind of stepped out of the picture and kind of let me run the helm there.
Right on.
So really opening a restaurant, building a restaurant from the bottom up, and, looking back and actually saying, wow, I ran a pirate ship with a crew, and, that was pretty big, and I was very young. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'd say that was probably my biggest accomplishment. That, and just, after that, I went on to another restaurant called Corolla's, which was more of a brothel than a restaurant, but Robin Leach was a partner in it.
All right.
And, it was funny because, and Nicole Miller also was a partner. Uh-huh. And I got 2 stars in the Post, and at the same time, Bourdain got 2 stars at Coco Pazzo in the same, on the same piece. And we were friends at the time, and actually I think I had left Coco Pazzo to go
and handle that.
Open up Corolla's, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really funny.
That's awesome.
So I'd say that's probably my biggest achievement was, actually being the chef and running a restaurant and being in charge of
just everything.
Of this, of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Staying up late, not really eating, drinking 12 cups of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, just your whole body's quaking, and then after service is over, you sit down at the bar, throw back a couple margaritas, and place your order for the next day.
There you go. Yeah. People tend not to realize a lot of times when they find out, like, oh, you do a cooking podcast, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, well, do you watch Top Chef? Like, yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really fun. Like, I'm like, do you even get... And I mean, I've never opened a restaurant, but like Restaurant Wars for me now, having talked to the amount of knowledgeable human beings I have, like Restaurant Wars now gives me more pit of the stomach anxiety than anything, because I can't comprehend what it all... There's so many facets of it, and when you're in the helm like you were, that's some serious shit right there.
Yeah, I mean, when the restaurant opened our soft opening, which was not a soft opening at all, the sewer started backing up at the dishwashing sink.
Oh my God.
And I didn't tell my dad what was going on. I just called, the plumber.
You just go with it, yeah.
I just called the plumber, and, here they came, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, nothing, don't worry about it. You just stay in the front, and I'll take care of this. And we did. We got through it. You get through it. You just have to keep going,
It's just so many people have compared it to being in, quote unquote, the trenches. And yes, you're not getting bullets fired at you or anything crazy like that. We're not making a literal analogy here, but I mean, you're in the shit.
Yeah.
And you're trying to survive 8 hours, 12 hours.
Oh, God. And it doesn't stop there, because then you have to order for the next day, and you have to worry about the garbage being picked up. And, there's so many things that are... So many components involved that people don't think about. Yeah. And, I had a garbage company come pick up my garbage, which was not our garbage company. Mm-hmm. And they left us a bill. And I remember I called them up and I said, excuse me, you left me a bill for picking up my garbage, but you're not our garbage carting company, and I'm not going to pay this bill, and I wear a size 10 shoe, and you can go ahead and make me cement shoes if you want, because I'm not paying this bill.
Right.
So you don't scare me, you know?
Oh, my God.
You know, I think, when you're a chef, you really are working, and it's yours.
And yet, here we are.
It's your baby, it's your child.
Yes, exactly. And just like a child, I mean, I know, just because they're sleeping, you don't stop worrying. Just because it's, oh, they're quiet, that's cute. Well, they're going to wake up again. Then what are you going to do? Then where are you going to take them?
That's why I have the same bed that Mommy Dearest had for my kid. I strap her into bed so she doesn't move at night. You're strapped in tonight. You're not going anywhere.
We're
not going to the emergency room. I'm too tired.
As Natalie can attest to, we recently took the front gate off of the 3-year-old's crib, and so he sleeps in quote unquote a bed. Well, he's discovered the freedom associated with that. So I think your method might need to be adopted here shortly.
Yeah, you just strap him down there.
Yeah.
Strap him in the bed.
That's not inhumane. That's functional.
You can do the David Letterman thing. Remember we had the Velcro wall?
Yes! Oh my God, yes! Yes.
Yeah, Velcro wall, the kids.
There you go, kid. Get a running jump, and you're stuck. Good night.
In the Velcro wall.
You're not going anywhere.
No.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, opening up Butterfield 81, greatest achievement. And you've seen things come, you've seen things go over the years, obviously. Both trends and trends and trends, because that's what culinary in general. It's an unfortunate stream of unfortunate trends a lot of times.
Yes.
What would you say currently trend wise is going to be the next big thing in food, good or bad? Good or bad? What do you see coming down the pike that we should either be watching for or staying away from, just to avoid?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like everyone's going big now. I mean, even Bourdain included with his new market coming up and his hawker stands, and everyone's doing these food halls. I think that's kind of a new trend thing, food hall / market. I mean, it looks like it's working for Mario.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hate
going to Italy, though. I absolutely can't stand it. It's unnerving to me. It's so unpleasant. Food trends, I mean, I think foam is out. I think tapas will stay in. The small bites, the small plates. I think that was something that I wanted to do when I opened Butterfield, but no one would listen to me. Yeah. So I'm like, that was my idea 20 years ago.
Well, when Bourdain went to somewhere in Spain and they were doing the tapas, I love tapas myself, and he said, though, he's like, this will never catch on in America.
Oh, no.
And that sucks.
Everyone wants little bits of everything. So I think that whole small plates thing is a trend that may stay, and I think people like it because people like to try lots of different little things.
Totally.
I think the family-style restaurants, no one wants to order giant plates of crap like at Carmine's. You don't want giant rigatoni and giant calamari.
Yeah.
And but I think the small plates things are in, and especially in New York. And
I'd love to see those catch on. I'd love to see those catch on smaller scale. Like in this area, my wife and I have always joked about our 5-year plan, and one of those was always a tapas restaurant. And it's like, shit, but it's not gonna. When you're in a white starchy potato and meat area,
right?
Talking about what the fuck is this shit, bro? I don't get it. Oh, don't taste good.
Well, that's like at my mother's. My mom lives in Rome, New York. I mean, all they eat is steak and greens and chicken riggies.
Yep.
And chicken riggies, and it has to be a pound of pasta on a plate for them to pay for it, and it's $15 maybe,
Jesus.
or $12, and it's just gross.
That's
and
crazy.
So I could never open a restaurant up there. I mean, I wouldn't want to live there.
Right.
But I don't want to live there, but I don't want to open a restaurant there either. The people just don't have the palate like they do in New York. They don't have the exposure.
Right. And I mean, you can only blame them so much for that. You know, that's just location.
Yeah. I suppose. You know, one of my friends has gone on to become a really great chef from Rome. He was my neighbor, and he asked me about going to the Culinary Institute. I said, no, just, you know, find a chef that you really like, their style of food and their style of cooking, and he did. And he ended up working for Jean-Georges. I think a lot of people who work for Jean-Georges end up doing fantastically well.
Well, that's not a bad way to
work for him.
Yeah, but, that's not a bad way to find your footing. Certainly not a bad name to associate with.
He's a phenomenal chef.
Jesus.
He's a phenomenal chef.
Very
nice. He's pretty groundbreaking.
Awesome.
And, yeah, you know, a lot of my friends are, you know, worked with Eric Repair, and, again, I've never had the pleasure to work for him, but I've met him, and he's a lovely guy, and Aaron Sanchez and all these people. And, you know, now these guys are kind of, they're not fading away, but they're being replaced by, you know, the next generation.
Right.
Of the new crop coming up.
Yeah, I saw, what was the video I just saw of Repair speaking about how he softened up in the kitchen, and it was true. It was really refreshing. You know, we were talking earlier about how the atmosphere in the kitchen has changed, you know, to date, and I think to an extent, you know, there's this nostalgic me that goes, oh man, I wish it was still just a little bit rougher on the edges. But when you hear Repair talk about it, it's like, oh damn. You know, even when you hear Marco Pierre White talk about it now, it's like, oh, okay, so it has changed. So, you know, maybe, you know, the next generation comes in, it'll be a more positive environment, but still the same level of, you know, intensity is such a multifaceted word, you know, and there's good intensity and bad intensity, and here's hoping that the good sticks with it. But Repair has always intrigued me to absolute death, and of course I'm sure you know him. And he's a great chef and a really just salt of the earth kind of guy. And that hurts as well, alright? I'm just keeping a score sheet on shit that just hurts me deeply. Eric Repair, look at her. I have like no toes left. I've dropped names so many times tonight. I'm like curling my toes under the table, icing them down with cold beer. So
yeah, well, that was the fun part of having the chef assistant group. You know, was getting to meet a bunch of these chefs, and I did what was it for? I got a bunch of chefs to sign a jacket for. I think it was at an auction.
Oh wow!
I don't remember what the cause was for, but I did that, and that was kind of fun, you know, going to all these chefs that I didn't really know personally, but I knew their assistants, and so I'd pass it off onto them. But then I met up with a lot of these chefs at the food and wine festivals in Miami, and you know, just through my travels with Bourdain and going on book tour, we met a lot of people, and what I think is amazing is now how Andrew Zimmern has really taken off as a chef now. Like, really? I think he has a cookbook too.
Yeah, I didn't get him season 1 of his show, but then I don't know if like producers or something like talked to him and was like, change it a little bit, you know, be a little less this, a little more that. I can binge watch him now. Unapologetically. And I don't know how to feel about that, honestly, Beth. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
I think it's okay.
I don't really watch a lot of these shows. It's all right. I mean, I like watching Top Chef Junior.
Yes. Or Chop Junior, is it?
No, Top Chef with Gordon Ramsay. Was it?
No, that's not Top Chef. Shit.
Not Top Chef.
Master Chef Junior. Yeah, one of those chefs.
That was a good show. One of those things. Master Chef, Young Chefs.
One of those things.
Little Chefs.
Yeah.
But I'm actually friends with one of the kids on it who's amazing, Jesse Gunn.
Oh, nice.
He's amazing. This kid. He's just an amazing talent. And he's 12.
He's 12.
Yeah, he's 12.
Let that soak in. He's 12.
He's 12 and he can cook like a maniac.
Oh my god, I love it. My 8-year-old, I took a clip of him when he was 7 or 6, I forget which, mincing garlic, because as soon as he could hold a knife, I put a 7-inch in his hands. I'm like, you're going to learn to respect this fucking thing, because a paring knife will do you just as bad as this will. You know, you'll at least have a little more respect for it. and he took to it like a fish to fucking water. So, I don't know.
Yeah, my daughter's the same way. She's exactly this. She loves to cook. She loves to be in the kitchen. She loves to cook. And my kitchen in my apartment, I can't see the kitchen, so she'll go in there and start slicing stuff, and I'm not watching. I'm like, okay, just don't cut your finger.
And she cuts a finger, what are you going to do? Grab a Band-Aid, she'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. She's all right. She's done great.
Excellent.
She's great. She can, make her breakfast. She can do her own scrambled eggs. She can make linguine vongole, and she's got a couple dishes down that she can absolutely do on her own without supervision. Atta girl.
Yep. Going back to the to the assistant group, one of the most rewarding things I think for being a food fanboy, I think that's my official executive title, food fanboy, for as long as I have been. One of the greatest rewards of the show has been finding out just the absolute and utter humanity behind the human beings that we watch on TV and cook and prepare. And truly, honestly, I've met musicians, I've met actors, everything. Chefs are the most rooted human beings in the history of human beings, I think.
I think it's because cooking is a nurturing job. Preparing food is a nurturing thing to do, I think. So, you want to feed people and you want people to like your food, and it's a feel good kind of thing, for you and for the people that you're doing it for. Definitely.
So, you've been you've hammered all my toes black and blue with the name dropping, but I will drop a name that blew me away absolutely. Neil Fraser. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet him?
No.
Okay, so here it was, episode 30. I'm ramping this up. I do a promo video. I'm like, yeah. I get this guy on the phone, and it was like I was talking to an old childhood friend. It was the most unassuming. And so, for me to reach out to these folks, and to realize, it's nurturing. I think you nailed it on the head right there. It's this nurturing personal bond that, I've had people who are just, just local to me, and I've had people, on from Top Chef. I have you on. Practically BFFs with Bourdain, and it's like, wow, this is a really cool thing. This food, just in general, is just this universal bond we all share.
Yep, we all need it.
So
we all need it, and I think sharing food is something that brings people together, and I think that's really the bottom line at the end of the day is that, the chefs are looking to make people happy. It's not necessarily about the stars that you're going to get or, your review, although that is part of it, but I think, the real thing is just having people be happy with the product that you're putting out and wanting to come back again and come back, for more, and just be happy with what you've given them. I mean,
totally.
I hate going out to a restaurant and having a shitty meal and paying a lot of money for it. It's really fucking disappointing.
Right.
So when you find a place that's decent, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
no question. So
I think that most chefs try to cook. I think they cook food not to please themselves, but to please the general public, or at least to sometimes shock them, but I think most of the time it's to please them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, we went all metaphysical there for a minute, and that was actually kind of fun. But to get back to you, what's next for you? I know you've got those banging ass non-nipple chafing shirts at grillbitch.com, which everyone should check out. But what's in the chamber? What's loaded?
Well, I'm kind of transitioning right now. I'm not really sure. I'm out of the private chefing business. I can't stand that. I'm done. I'm done with that. I don't get any joy from that. If I did anything, I might like to do a food truck. That's kind of been a fantasy. Oh, I had long, young dreams. As a young girl, I had dreams of doing, a little tapas restaurant. But I'm not really 100% sure what I want to do yet when I grow up. I'd like to do some more traveling. I'd like to travel a bit. I'd like to see some more countries and eat different ethnic food. And then probably I'll end up on a food truck.
There you go.
I think that'll probably happen to me.
Yeah, food trucks are massive. Actually, the last couple episodes I had Keith Breedlove, who is the State Fair chef of California, and Allie Walter of Allie Ann and Company, who is a food truck entrepreneur that works with food trucks to get them in line. So, food trucking, and I've seen them more and more. My wife actually just got a new job up in a new area, and one of the first things one of her nurses said to her was that, "Oh, hey, you won't believe the food trucks around noontime." And I guess they cycle out. They do. So yeah,
I think that's a food trend.
Yeah,
that's a food trend, but I don't think it's going to go away.
No, absolutely not.
Food trucks are here to stay. And did you see the movie Chef? You must have seen the movie Chef.
Okay, all right, admission, and I know there are friends who listen to this that will again shame me for this, but I am the shittiest movie watcher ever. I just
Me too, but that one I happened to see, and
I need to.
I thought that was such a great movie.
I need to see
it.
Based on your recommendation, I'm buying it tonight. So
okay,
no questions there. But
it's really fun. The kid is great in it. It's great. Dustin Hoffman is the epitome of. Well, he's a restaurateur in California, but he could very well be one in New York City as well.
Right on.
Just very funny.
and we'll leave it at that. Yes. Everyone can watch it and draw their own assumptions. So that's awesome, man. And I really hope that pops through for you. Obviously being friends with our dear friend Natalie, I'm hoping to come up and definitely A, meet you in person first and foremost, but B,
that'd be great.
If the food truck takes off, I think I'm going to sit outside of it and just try a little bit of everything. So that's
fantastic.
That's what I'll be lining up for. So
fantastic.
That's the what's next, and that's the main. So let's move on to afters.
Okay.
The section of the interview that runs the possibility of injuring you, but probably won't. I can't be sure. It's never happened before, but it might happen. Who knows? I'm standing in your kitchen. You can pick whether it's professionally or at home. What music do I hear?
You're going to hear probably some Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones get the lock. Anybody else?
And then Bob Marley.
Oh, Bob Marley.
Like some reggae.
That's a nice little switch.
I like reggae. I'm like a little bit of everything.
I like it.
Everything.
I like it a lot.
Maybe some Sly Stone. Some Eminem. A little bit of everything. I'm all over the place with my music.
Love it.
But I like the Stones. They just kind of make me move around and do stuff.
Yeah, they're a nice kind of pace music, if you will. I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
And a bit of nostalgia,
For sure.
So, yeah.
So, I'm going to ask the next question, but I know it already, but go with me here. How's your mouth in the kitchen? If we used a movie writing scale...
Tourette syndrome.
Okay. We have an official rated T. What is your favorite slander to throw down at somebody in the kitchen? If you had one that's your go-to. Like if they're absolutely just in the shit, screwing up everything left and right.
I like calling boys girls. I like to call them little whiny bitches.
Oh.
Whiny bitches.
Whiny bitch. I love it.
Get off the line, whiny bitch. Go peel some onions. Go
you're gonna
peel a
cry.
50-pound bag of onions. Yeah, you're not going home. Like anyone who was ever late in my kitchen, they never went home. I never docked them. I'd say, go downstairs and peel a 50-pound bag of onions.
Yep.
And then you can dice it after.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The name makes so much sense now. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm curled up in my chair in the fetal position right now. Thank you. I'm like, no, not again. Not the face, mommy.
I don't get physical with people. I stopped that after the Culinary Institute. Well, except for that guy in Kitchen Confidential who I dry humped from behind. yeah, he was kind of a jerk. But, yeah. I mean, I would even punch guys on the line because they'd grab my ass and then I couldn't reach them, but I just throw a punch right in their arm, you know, like hit them in the arm, hit them wherever I could. Right. You know?
I love it. Oh my God, I fucking love it. At the risk of my own personal safety, I'd love to work a shift with you. That would be riveting.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, I'm always joking around, and it's usually kind of sexual. And
right.
You know, you do this dance in the kitchen that you're rubbing asses with a bunch of guys,
right.
And you know, I mean, I probably would have been fired for sexual harassment. I could have been, but the guys liked it, so, you know, they're different. They wouldn't complain. Like, hey, she grabbed my ass, you know. So, I grabbed some asses. I'm guilty. But they liked it.
Exactly.
They wanted it. Exactly. They wanted it. They were wearing little skirts. They wanted me to grab their ass.
Oh, God. It's not funny, Sean. Stop laughing. All right. Shit. All right.
Yeah, no, so I've got Tourette's syndrome and an ass-grabbing problem.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, yeah. It's.
I'm only human. I mean,
You're unique, Beth. You're unique. God's special little creation.
Yeah. Yeah, I am very unique.
So you're gonna be okay. Hypothetical situation: wipe the board clean, ass grabbing, Tourette's, and everything removed from the template for the moment. You're gonna be stranded on a deserted island. So imagine this, if you will, and you're only allowed to take 3 foods or food type items with you. What would they be and why?
Oh boy, lobster.
Love it.
Because I'm a lobsterfarian. I love lobster. I like spiny lobster. I like Maine lobster. I like any lobster. Any lobster is a friend of mine.
You like rock lobster? Woo!
I like rock lobster, yeah, little B-52s.
B-52s reference.
Lobster, yeah. I would definitely do lobster. Food items? Like, okay, so I've got a lobster. I don't really need the butter. I need some bread. I would need bread because I love bread. And I love foie gras.
Jesus, I love it. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, and even I do bone marrow too, but, you know, I'm telling you, everything I love is full of cholesterol.
Lobster, foie, and bread. It's like bread's just the stage for the actor, let's be honest.
You need a little bread, you know, because you can put the foie on the bread, you can put the lobster on the bread.
Exactly, you can put the bread on the bread, who cares?
You can put the bread on bread on bread.
And then when you're on the island and you're sweating butter, it'll just, you know.
I'll be sweating butter. Foie is butter.
Jesus.
You know, then I was thinking bone marrow too, but, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd go for the pork belly. No. Not so much.
I actually just had.
Pork belly. I mean, I really like it, but
yeah, I think pork belly is one of those trends where I'm like, all right, enough. We've done enough pork belly.
Yeah.
Let's get away from that. I just had pork belly on a pizza the other night. It was this, you know, make your own pizza,
really?
kind of hoity-toity, and I'm like, all right, let me go. What'd I say? Jalapeno something and pork belly. You know, just to kind of get the little acidic cut through and everything.
Right.
And the pork belly came out, and it just basically looked like if you took toast and soaked it in bacon grease. Like, it literally had almost that consistency to it. I'm like, this is fucking gnarly. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm out.
Yeah, that would be my 3 things.
Lobster, bread, and foie.
Lobster.
I love it. And then you can sweat your own butter, and...
sweat my own butter.
I see no fault with that whatsoever. No fault with it.
It's not I like foie torchon, not like I like the terrine, the foie, not just like the seared.
Not just the lobe. Yeah.
I don't like that. No, I don't like the seared lobe. I used to make it at Butterfield, but not my favorite. It's a little too squishy.
Right on.
You know, I like how the foie torchon just kind of melts by itself from your finger heat, from onto the bread, and it's goose butter.
It's goose butter. Goose butter isn't. That should be the next shirt right there, Beth. Goose butter.
Goose butter.
A big picture of a lobe and just goose butter. I'd buy it. I'd be in.
Yeah.
No question.
I mean, I'm not such a sweets person, so it wouldn't be no dessert. It wouldn't be ice cream or anything. No. I can live with it without all that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Hey, have you had a chance to read Melanie Denea's My Last Supper?
Yes, actually, I have a credit in that book, and she misspelled my last name. She spelled it with an I.
You are literally the second person out of 39 episodes, not including my wife and I, to know the book.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's terrific. And you know there's 2 volumes, yes?
I did not get the second volume. I do know there is 2 volumes, but I only have the first volume.
Second one's got MPW on the cover holding a piece of bread in front of his face, so it's terrific. It's terrific. Both volumes are fantastic. I am going to go out and binge read the first one now and find you.
I mean, I think I'm at the very end of at the last page of I'd like to give thanks to blah 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 for helping me get this book together.
All the acknowledgments and such.
So Bourdain's in it, and that whole genre 10 years ago.
So you know the book. This is terrific. I don't have to
I know Melanie.
Oh my God. Call me.
Yeah.
All right. So
do you know Melanie?
Oh my God. I follow her on Twitter. I've pinged her a couple times for the show. So.
No, she's great.
Oh
she's
my
really
God.
Great.
Yeah, and I mean the format actually. I've joked, and this is kind of cool that I can tell you this now. The format for the book inspired this podcast because it was like, okay, cool, a rote set of questions that yes, we deviate from, but everybody answers the same stuff, and it's kind of cool to see how, your local, small town diner hash slinger measures up against, 3 Michelin star, and like everybody's kind of in the same boat. Like we were saying before, it's all about nurturing. It's all about this cool central concept. So Denea's book did inspire, and my tip of the hat to Ms. Denea is to ask her question to you then. What would be your last supper? Who would be there? What would you drink? What would you eat?
Jeez, you would think I would have thought about this, but I really haven't. Who would be at my last supper? Oh, good Lord. Julia Child, I think.
Oh, that's terrific.
I think Julia Child, because I met her one time.
Oh my God.
One time. It was a very, very, very brief meeting, and I think it was like at a CCAP fundraiser thing.
I'm out of toes, Beth. You've dropped on all of my toes.
I know.
Now you're killing
old.
fingers.
I'm old. That's why. That's why I could say I've met her. I mean, I never sat and broke bread with her, but I've met her. She was very tall, and she had a great presence. So I would say Julia Child, and I would probably eat maybe some coq au vin or some braised short ribs. I think some braised short ribs and a nice Bordeaux.
Oh,
yeah,
that's it right there. And some foie torchon.
And some foie torchon to start.
There you go.
And then maybe some more for dessert.
Why not? Because if you don't have a sweet tooth, then you definitely got a fat tooth, and I got a fat tooth.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is a stellar, luxurious, almost gluttonous answer, and I love it to death.
Well, thank you. It's all about the gluttony.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, the last question. I can't believe our time together, but now that I'm looking at my recording timeline, I'm like, holy shit, it's a long time. What is food to you in a single word? That's taken from James Lipton. So Passion. I love it.
Yeah, passion.
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 And there's not a single fiber of passion that doesn't come through. Just in talking to you, just reading about you, just learning about you. It's been beyond an honor. I realize how crazy small this world is, that a dear friend of ours lives right next to you. That's crazy.
I know. We love Natalie. Natalie's great.
She is, and by proxy, my good Lord, Beth Aretsky, you are fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me this evening. It's
it
been
was a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get to meet you in person.
Oh my God, it would be an honor, a privilege, and I'd probably fanboy quite a bit. So,
wonderful.
Hey, speaking of nipple chafing, where can people find those non-nipple chafing shirts again? Is it grillbitch.com?
Yep, www.grillbitch.com.
Cook Free or Die, the logo that you all want, the logo that I almost got tattooed on my arm, and I still might. I don't know yet. I might do it. They are terrific. They're fantastic. And, grillbitch.com. Check it out. Order the shirts. Order them almost ad nauseum, if you will, because Cook Free or Die, a logo, a shirt, it's just a motto to live by, really. So,
absolutely.
Grillbitch.com. Again, Beth, thank you so very much. It's been an
you're
honor.
Very welcome, Sean.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 39 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. My producer, as always, has been the lovely and voluptuous Johnny Leland Robinson, a.k.a. the Reverend Johnny Lamoria. Be sure to check out his podcast, Cinematic Pig's Feet, available on iTunes. Next episode, we are going to hit the big 4-0. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I'll probably drink a 40 or two. I'm not sure. But that remains to be seen.
You should drink a 40 on your 40th.
I should. I think that should be, that should, all right, there it is, people. The 40th episode will be a 40s only episode.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
If I make it through the second one, you probably won't hear the end of the episode because I'll fall asleep.
And then you have some Colt 45 on your 45th.
I got some Colt 45. Billy D. Beth, thank you so much again, sweetheart.
You're so welcome. Take
it's been a pleasure. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.